Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to let you in on a little secret that pro programmers use every single day. It's a way to write code that isn't just working, but is clean, powerful, and just crazy efficient. Honestly, this one idea is going to change how you write programs from now on. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at a really common and, let's be honest, super annoying problem in programming. Then, we'll find this awesome solution for it, this thing called a procedure. After that, we'll see how to make it flexible and wrap up by mastering the two main types you'll use all the time. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the problem. Picture this. We're building a really simple program. It's just got two buttons. One's supposed to show you all the odd numbers from 1 to 10, and the other button shows you all the even numbers. Sounds easy enough, right? Now let's peek behind the curtain at the code for these buttons. Don't worry about the tiny details. Just look at the overall shape. The chunk of code on the left for the odd numbers, it looks almost exactly like the code on the right for the even numbers. I mean, it's pretty much a carbon copy. And that is the problem we need to solve. Yeah, this is what we call code duplication, and it is a total nightmare for programmers. So why is it so bad? Well, imagine you find a bug, or maybe you just want to change how the numbers look when they're displayed. Now you have to remember to go and fix it in both places. If you miss one, your program's broken. It's just a bad way to work, and it's asking for mistakes to happen. So how in the world do we fix this? How can we write that logic just one time and then reuse it wherever we need it? Well, the answer is a really cool programming idea that's brought to life by something called a procedure. The solution is a procedure. And the best way to think about it is like a recipe. You write down all the steps for baking a cake just one time, right? You give it a name like Grandma's Famous Chocolate Cake, and from that day on, you never have to write down the whole list of ingredients and steps again. You just say, hey, let's make Grandma's cake. It's the exact same idea in programming. So what we do is we take that repeated block of code, we just pull it right out, and we stick it into its own procedure. We'll give it a name, like show odd or even. Now look at the code for the buttons. It's just one simple line now. Each one just calls our new procedure. See how much cleaner and easier that is to read? But hold on, our nice, clean code, it's actually created a brand new problem for us. Our recipe is a little too specific. It's not flexible. Let's run the program and see what happens now that we've made this change. Uh-oh, check this out. The odd button and the even button. They're both spitting out the exact same list of odd numbers. Why? Because our procedure's recipe has the starting number stuck on 1. It's a one-trick pony, and that's not what we want. To fix this, our recipe needs a way to take in different ingredients. We need to be able to tell our procedure, hey, for this button, I want you to start counting at 1. And then for the other button, say, okay, now for this one, start counting at 2. And the way we do this is by adding something called a parameter. Take a look at the code where we create the procedure. See inside the parentheses? We've added a little placeholder called start. Think of this like a blank spot in our recipe that says, you have to tell me what number to start with. It's the procedure saying, hey, I expect you to give me an ingredient when you use me. And here's how we actually use it. When we call the procedure from our odd button, we pass in the number 1. That value, the 1, is called an argument. It's the ingredient. Then, for the even button, we call the exact same procedure, but this time, the argument we pass in is 2. The argument fills in the placeholder we made. And would you look at that? It works perfectly. One button gives us the odd numbers, the other gives us the even numbers, and it's all being run by one single smart, flexible piece of code. Now that is smart programming. Okay, so now that we've got a handle on what procedures are, let's dig into the two main types you're going to see all the time, especially in Visual Basic. What we just built is one type, but there's another that's just as important. So our show odd or even procedure was what's called a sub-procedure, or just a sub for short. It's basically a list of instructions that just does something. In our case, it puts some text on the screen. The other type is a function. A function also runs a bunch of commands, but with one absolutely huge difference. It gives you something back. It returns a value when it's done. To really get why functions are so cool, let's look at a totally new example. We're going to build a tiny little calculator that just adds 2 numbers. This is like the perfect job for a function. The whole process here is pretty simple. First, we design the calculator screen. Then we write a function whose only job in life is to take 2 numbers and figure out their sum. When the user hits the equals button, we'll call our function, and whatever number it hands back to us, we'll just pop it onto the screen as the answer. So let's look at the actual code for this sum function. See how it takes two numbers as parameters, first and second, just like our last example. But here's the magic part, that word, return. The line return total is the special instruction that sends the calculated answer back to whatever part of the program was asking for it. And here is how we use that value that gets returned. Inside our button's code, we call the sum function and we give it the two numbers from the text boxes. The function runs off, does its math, and hands the answer back. We can then take that answer and put it right into our results label. It's like asking a question and getting an immediate, usable answer right back. And there it is. The user types in 19 and 18, clicks the button, and boom, the result, 37, shows up instantly. Our main code didn't have to do any math at all. It just asked the sum function to do the work. This makes functions perfect for any job where you need to do some kind of calculation and get a single result back. So let's bring this all home. Whether you're using a sub to perform an action or a function to calculate a value, the big idea is exactly the same. Write your code one time and then reuse it. There's a famous saying in programming, don't repeat yourself, and that's exactly what this is all about. It's how you build programs that are cleaner, way easier to fix, and a whole lot more powerful. So you now have this fundamental tool that every single professional developer uses. You can write a piece of logic once and then reuse it over and over and over again. It's basically a programming superpower. So the only real question left is, what amazing things are you going to build with it?